Hello, I am here. I am back for another video on the channel. Oh, try and get that straight. It looks a bit funny on there on the stand. I hope we're all well. I hope we've all enjoyed the weekend. We're on a Monday at the start of a new week. I hope you've all had a good weekend. Let me know what you've been doing, what's been going on for you guys. Are you still feeling the energies as I was last week for my last video? It's still ongoing. Just as I put my phone on today to start this video, it said 15:15, so it's still it's still going on, still playing out. Today I wanted to talk about the pain body and what it is, and also different ways that we can experience it in life, and it's something that's talked about quite a lot by Eckhart Tolle, Tolle, however you pronounce it. I call him Eckhart Tolle. I'm sure he doesn't mind. And it's also talked about with other people as well in that field of things. But I wanted to talk about it a little bit on this channel because it's something I've not really discussed much. Although I do dabble and touch on it with other things with regards to healing. But I thought this video would be primarily focused on that. So the pain body, what is it? So the pain body is basically it's what it sounds like, really. You know, it's a body of pain that's within you, and this pain can come from we're usually talking about emotional pain, but this emotional and mental pain can manifest into physical pain and physical ailments as well. So traumatic events, bereavements, loss, breakups, you name it, all that stuff that happens in life on our journey of learning and discovery of ourselves, all this stuff happens. And what can happen is we can unknowingly, subconsciously, we can hold on to these emotions and kind of we almost harness them and use them as a protective wall or a protective barrier, where in actual fact it's kind of the opposite of what we need to do, because when that wall and that barrier does finally break down, you can go through even more trauma as this stuff is released. So what Eckhart Tolle tends to talk about in his videos and in his book The Power of Now, obviously he's very much of a similar kind of mindset to me, as being present and being aware. And the more that we're connected with our presence and our awareness, then we experience life fully and in the moment, in every single passing moment. So the more you are immersed in the moment, and the more that you are present with yourself, and so that is with everything that is going on with you. So whether that is emotional, mental stuff that can be building up, if you're present with it and you're aware of it, then you're able to process it and almost heal it pretty much straight away. And it can be difficult to do, because what a lot of people tend to do is when something like that happens, is they'll either go into a fight, almost like a fight or flight response, really, or they will go into a retreat, and they will kind of hold on to it. They'll hold on to this pain, they'll hold on to this emotion, they'll hold on to all this stuff that's kind of that they're feeling, and yeah, that they might be feeling it and they might be experiencing it, but they might not be dealing with it on a deeper level. And it's going to that present moment, that deeper level, that feeling of where this pain in your body is coming from, or what you're feeling, or whereabouts are you feeling it in your body? Are you feeling it in your stomach? Are you feeling it in your head? Are you feeling it in your back? Are you feeling it in your throat? And being aware of all these different areas within the body is where these manifestations of this pain body can show themselves into the physical body. So years later, you may start experiencing heart problems or palpitations or throat issues or serious migraines or agility problems with the legs and things like that, because whatever has happened has taken you right out of the present moment, which again is very, very easy to do, depending on the severity of it. And because it takes us out of the present moment, it takes us away from that aspect of ourselves. And what happens is it becomes almost like a blueprint for your energy, for your soul. So next time something like that happens, or you experience something of that similar, what you have this wall up, and it's almost like you just don't go through the motions of what you need to go through to experience everything fully in that moment. So that's why where we express emotion, express our voice and how we feel, if we need to talk about things, it's really important to put that stuff out there and express it and talk about it and speak about it, and not be closed off to the possibility of being able to heal these things and understand these things and analyze these things. Because the more we look into it, and the more we look at the different aspects of what's happened from that instance to create that emotional, mental response, whatever it may be, to bring you into the now, where you were experiencing something similar, but maybe on either a much deeper or much subtler level, and it's trying to look at the similarities of what's been going on. And the pain body is very much a psychological thing, and it's kind of written deep, especially with people like Carl Jung. That they talked about he talked about the pain body quite a lot within his in his work with psychology, and he was almost on the edge of he actually was quite spiritual, very spiritual, I would say, actually. I'm just trying to feel that connection there. So he was very spiritual. So a lot of this stuff that has come from psychology is brought into the spiritual, and again, this is another aspect, physics, the quantum field, all that sort of stuff. It's all crisscrossed with spirituality, and spiritualism, and the way we work with it within the energy field, because again, as we always say, everything is energy. So your emotions, your mental state of being, your physical, all this stuff in the background can affect your physical. Your spiritual can affect your physical. So if you've had, say, a traumatic spiritual event, maybe it's a situation where you've been really, really frightened, or something's happened. Maybe you've been, maybe spirits entered you and tried to communicate through you, or tried to use you, or in some way, or maybe you've got some sort of attachments or things that are there, and you may not be aware of them, but they almost like sort of used you in a certain way, and so all these events that happen and build up over time, we can kind of like just, a lot of people just go into the fight or flight response, or they will just push it to the background, they will forget about it. But then many years later, all this stuff starts firing back up, and they're like, well, where's it come from? And especially when you start going through an awakening journey, a lot of this emotional, mental anguish, all these different things that you've kept buried within will start being released, because what's happening with the spiritual awakening is you're almost having a cleanse. Your energy is firing back up again, and you are cleansing your energy, because it kind of needs a reboot, because you go so far down into some dark places, like dark night of the soul and all that sort of stuff. That's usually where, not always, but that's usually where a spiritual awakening will come from. and it will come from these low events where we have, over the years, we have held on to a lot of pain and a lot of trauma, and a lot of emotional pain that we've kept deep down. Then all of a sudden it will just bang, and it will just come out all of a sudden. Sometimes it will come out in the form of depression, it will come out in the forms of anxiety, it'll come out in the forms of panic attacks, it'll come out in the forms of maybe heart issues, and like I said before, maybe migraines, or there's multiple things that it can affect, because it's kind of like when I'm going to use the analogy of a power cut. So because we've just had a power cut down the street, but I'll use the analogy of a power cut. So it's running along. There might be a few kinks in the wires, but the energy is going. Then all of a sudden it just goes, because one of them kinks is suddenly gone, and it sort of like goes pop, and off it goes. And that's where you kind of like meet this darkness. You're like, oh, what's happened here? And obviously these kinks are creating something along the line, and it's bringing you into these darker places. Then all of a sudden, pop, it goes off, and everything becomes quite dark, or whatever, quite negative. And then you're going through these processes of other things that might be firing, or other things that might be happening, and you're experiencing all this new stuff, and you don't really know what's happening, you don't know what's going on, you don't know why, and more often than not, a lot of the time, it's the beginning of your it's fixing the kinks. You're looking at the healing, you're looking at all these different layers of what you need to work on vibrationally within you. You discover healing, you discover modalities, you discover meditation, whatever it might be for you. Everybody's different, but we are all one, so we're all connected, but everybody's different. And so whatever form of healing that's right for you is where you will go. And that form of healing will start fixing all those kinks. And all of a sudden, bing, the light will come back on, and it's like whoosh, it's like a surge of energy, and it's like, ooh, wow, what the hell just happened there? And all of a sudden this vibrational frequency is lifted, and it almost it gets rid of all the kinks, and it puts all the lights back on, and you start seeing everything the way it is. And that's when you start looking at things like shadow work, pain body, meditation, working with your traumas, dealing with traumas, and the more you work through all this stuff that has been kind of buried and suppressed for all these years, the more you start to go back into your true authentic self. You start experiencing things that you need to experience. You start being around the people that you need to be around, and as I've said before in many other videos, that those people that you connected with once over in that old life of fight or flight, emotion, trauma, whatever it might be, once they will all go away, and a new frequency of people will come in, because you've you've switched on, and you're more aware of things. And like I say, that's when you become more aware of the various ways of healing, and that is, the pain body is one of those things. There are multiple things that we go through in life that can affect your pain body, that can create a pain body. We all have pain body of some description, because we're all constantly healing, because we all have events in life that can create trauma, that can create that fight or flight response. And that's why I say it is very hard to be, being present in the moment, but also being aware of it and releasing it. So if you need to cry, if you need to shout, if you need to laugh, if you need to just let go, if you need to scream, just do it, just let it out, because the more you hold it, the more you suppress it over a period of time, it will start bubbling and bubbling and bubbling and bubbling until, again, you're getting all these little kinks in your wires, and bang, you will just go again. And it's a series of events that will happen over a lifetime, unless it's kind of discovered, exposed, seen, a level of healing is discovered, and being able to not just heal with whoever you might see, whatever practitioner it might be, but also be able to tune into ways of healing yourself between healing sessions. So healing is a long journey, and we are constantly healing. Life is about healing and learning, developing, leveling up, and that's kind of like what it's all about. That's what this spiritual journey is. It's about healing, learning, leveling up, developing yourself, becoming a better version of yourself, and seeing aspects of yourself, and sometimes that seeing aspects of yourself is why a lot of people don't want to discover things like the pain body, like the shadow, like balancing the ego with the shadow, the ego with and using discernment within various aspects of the spiritual work, because they don't want to see that dark side of them. But the more you see it, and the more you understand it, and the more you expose it and realize it, and realize that, yeah, I have faults, I have errors, I know I'm not perfect, but being aware of them and not having them kind of like on the shoulder, like a little devil, like saying things in your ear or making you feel worse, making you feel bad, bringing you down, because that's what the ego likes to do sometimes. It likes to make you believe you're not as good as what you are, or you can't achieve this, you won't be able to do that, there's not a chance in hell, you've not achieved anything in life, and sometimes that's what the ego will do, because it is really good at making you believe that anything you want to try and do, or want to try and achieve, the ego will try to do the opposite, and that's that balance, that the balance and discernment of saying, no, you know what, I am going to go for it, I am going to try this, I am going to do this, and believe in yourself, and putting that power out there will create a whole new vibration of possibilities, of abilities, of whatever you want to achieve. Putting that focus out there, putting that intention out there, and putting action into it will create what you want to achieve. And so that pain body can sometimes creep up on us when we want to do things like that, when we want to achieve, when we want to go out there and improve our lives and better ourselves. We've had lifetimes of being programmed by the system to make us believe that these are the rules we need to follow, this is what we need to do, you need to do this and this and this to have a happy life, when actual fact you can create all that yourself by stepping away from that and not allow the ego to tell you what to do. The ego needs to be there. We all have an ego. We all need an ego. But it's about balancing the ego with those aspects, and being able to release this pain, release the emotional pain, release the mental pain, heal the physical pain, heal the spiritual pain, whatever level of pain it might be within you. That pain body is all layers, and it's releasing those layers bit by bit, exposing them and seeing them for what they are and why you've behaved, why you've reacted in certain ways. And so next time you're aware of it, and you might still react, or you might still have a situation, but it might not be as bad, and that's a level of healing. That's progress. It really is progress. So that's kind of my messages on and what I feel about the pain body. It can go a lot deeper, it can go much deeper, but you can talk about these things for hours on end, and those sorts of videos will take like hours on end to upload, but I want to give you just like snippets of information, little nuggets that you can think about and go away with and think, oh yeah, oh well, that's why I react to this when this situation happens, or somebody that said that to me the other week and they really fucked me off, or they really pissed me off by what they said. Now I know why. Because and you can pinpoint it back to a time in your past. And as soon as you've experienced that and expressed it and realized it, it starts to release, it starts to lift, and you can go through the processes of letting go. You can go through the processes of severing those cords, taking your power back, make an announcement to the universe that you bring all your power back to you, and you send anything that is no longer serving your highest good back to whence it came, and send it with love and compassion. So the pain body is important. I don't want it to sound like it's not important, because it is important, because if we didn't have it, we wouldn't be aware of it, and we wouldn't be able to heal from various things. And the pain body can also be hereditary. It can pass through bloodlines, and it can come from past lives, and it could also be from future lives as well. Things that have happened in the future may, subconsciously you may be aware of something that's happening ahead in the future. You're not sure why. You're not sure why you're feeling this way, and then you get to that point in time. You're like, oh, I feel like I've already experienced this. I've already gone through this process. It's almost like a little bit like a deja vu feeling. But especially so with the past lives, and with hereditary pain bodies, hereditary emotions, hereditary things, especially the negative emotions. That's where, I learned a lot of that from doing emotional code therapy with a practitioner last year before, whenever it was, and that took a few sessions to release things from nearly up to 20 generations ago of different emotions that have hung on through all generations. And it's come to my lifetime and my lifeline, where I finally severed those connections to that past life, to that trauma, to that emotion, whatever it may be. And then once you start severing them, new things open up, new possibilities, new levels of vibration, new opportunities, and it's a beautiful, beautiful place to be, and it's a wonderful journey. And pain body. Like I said, that there is a lot more you can go into with it, but that is my understanding, and that is what it is, and how it can affect us, and what we can do to help ourselves. And energy healing can help. Reiki can help. If you use the distance symbol, you can send Reiki to past lives. You can send Reiki to future lives. You can send Reiki to your Akashic records. Anything like that. You can send Reiki to the universe to resolve any matters that need to be resolved using the distance symbol, because there is no space and time in the spirit realms, within universal energy, spirit, source, God, whatever you want to call it. It's all now. So there is no space and time, so you can access that level of healing that needs to be done. I've sent healing before. I've sent Reiki to my Akashic records before. I did a video on it a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And yeah, it was interesting. I wasn't sure of how to do it, but at the end of the day, intention is everything. Intention really is everything. So, pain body. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you're all well. Do let me know, comment below. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a bing, and also don't forget to subscribe wherever it is these days. I can't remember. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next video. Much love to you all. Namaste. Bye for now.